Hello, beautiful souls. Lori Rising here, star channeler, transformational mentor, and evolutionary astrologer. Welcome to the Aquarius new moon on February 9th at 5:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It happens at 20 degrees of Aquarius. No more effing around, y'all. Okay, so first of all, if you haven't watched my 2024 astrology themes and activation, go back and watch it after you're done with this video. It's going to make so much sense, especially now that we're really rolling into 2024 and the energies have not held back at all. So Aquarius energy is fixed, and I'm going to just shout this out right away to the world. You've got to be aware of the signature of fixed energy. So what we want to work with is the high vibe of it, which is determination in the evolution, in the change, in the soul growth of the new iteration, of the transformation, of being in the beginner's mind, because Aquarius energy in the lower frequency of it will be kind of a know-it-all. Like, they're right, everybody else is wrong, and they're not going to budge because they have that higher wisdom. They kind of step into the I'm a teacher all the time role instead of being in the beginner's mind and really being available for what's to come. They also have an ability of detaching emotionally a little bit. So we can use that to our advantage, but we can also watch it so we come from the heart and not necessarily just from like the whole, the good of humanity, because that's what Aquarius is here for. It's for revolution, it's for innovation, and it's here for networking friends and the goal of helping humanity. But we also want to remember to be very much present in the moment in our heart space. Aquarius is the galactic activation. Aquarius is the connection to your higher wisdom and self. But remember that that connection needs this body. So you've got to be earthbound as well. You've got to be in your senses, and you've got to feel the messages coming through that innate navigation system, which is through the sensory system, and follow your biggest teacher from everything in this world, which is your nervous system. Okay, so now that we have that established, it is more important than ever that you have the communities that absolutely are in your vibe, that you follow the mentors, you get into their programs, you get into their world, you do the activations, and you have a solid daily practice to come back to when the resistance comes up, when the triggers show up, when the internal struggle is looping and you're living from your mind and you're letting your nervous system in a stress state guide you, and you keep doubling down in control and expectation and constriction. So if you don't have those things in place, this is the new moon to do it with. These are the new seeds that you're planting for where you go, and it has to be a solid stream of consciousness and the identity of you in your mastery, not you in the wounds and the triggers and the loops and the past emotions that are holding you back, or you in the communities and the families that are putting a drag on you or continuing to fortify those limitations. It's the identity of you in your mastery, in your full light, in what you know is in your truth, is in your heart, is in your life force. That's the stream of consciousness, the community, the mentor, and the activations that you need to say yes to. Because the only way you catch up with what's happening in this year is by having that determination to make it happen in your life. Period. Nobody else is going to do it for you. We're moving out of the age of Pisces, which is the age of disillusion. So this is where we become the sovereign souls, the sovereign energy, the sovereign mind, the sovereign body, and we bring that together in strength from our hearts with our higher consciousness connection, and then we are unstoppable. So y'all, the changes that are happening are across the board. The earth is changing. Just yesterday, I think we had 4 M-class solar flares, 2 radio blackouts. I think something else happened. So the geomagnetic conditions are big and we're feeling it. So you have to know how to work with it. If you're trying to live your life the way that you used to, you're going to be in chaos and it's not going to feel good. So you have to learn how to move energy. You have to know how to get into alignment. You have to know how to clear whatever's coming up, whatever's sticky for you, and you have to know how to do it quickly because the energies are happening so quickly. That's the evolution of humanity. When we evolve our consciousness, we don't just decide like, oh yeah, I'm going to jump into all these changes and everybody else is going to do it as well. No, things happen around us to prompt us, to invite us in, even to push us into those changes. So you decide how fast it's going to go for you. And when we come together, we decide how fast it's going to go for humanity. So our health is changing. That's the reality. We all know what has happened since 2020. Have you been getting more clear on what health is for you? Have you been getting rid of toxins in your environment, in your emotions, in your physical health? Have you been learning how to be in connection with earth medicine, which is there to help us? We came in without hospitals and doctors, y'all, but we've gradually lost that innate healer that's within us all, that intuitive, instinctual response that helps us determine what it is in our environment that's there for our care and our support. We're moving back towards that, but you have to be an active part of it. The government is changing. We're moving out of centralization. We're going to a decentralized government. That's why all of these lies and greed and power over is being exposed, because we've got to be looking more to our local governments. We've got to be amplifying more of what's happening in our communities. I mean, look at what has happened with Texas just recently. And also, I just want to point out, we're going to lump in the economy changing with this too. Look at what's happening in Europe and now, what started in Texas, which is truckers and farmers coming up and standing up for their rights. And not only their rights, but for you, because these are the people that bring food to our tables on a mass scale. They bring the resources to us on a mass scale. So if we want to change the government, those are the 2 areas that are going to do it the fastest. So you've got to pay attention. And how are you moving in your life along with that? The more we become self-sustainable, the more we get back to digging in the dirt, to growing our own food, to having resources in place, to gradually letting ourselves not be reliant on a centralized power that has not been there for its people, the quicker we are going to rise together. And this requires change. It requires resiliency and adaptability. And as the economy changes, it's more important than ever that conscious people get shit tons of money into their conscious little hands and continue to bring it into the communities. So you've got to work on this in your personal life, because when you create this level of declaration and reclamation of your own life, it's the energy and frequency that emanates out from you that affects the whole of humanity and allows them to tap in. And it allows others to gather the evidence of what's possible that they've been keeping themselves from because they haven't seen it in their past yet. So you've got to be the innovator of your life and do it in a way that hasn't ever been done before, that isn't familiar to your DNA, because that's going to catapult you into your highest expansive state of being, into this highest technology of this body. Okay, y'all, so that was a lot for the beginning. I'm worked up. I've got this Pluto energy going, but I also continue to get the messages. The channeled message that I continue to get from my guides right now, especially with All Planets Direct, is it's go time. It's no more Netflix and chill time. You can have little pieces of that, But when you get the epiphany, when you get the inspiration right now, you take the aligned action. It is more important than ever that we use this cosmic weather in the best of ways. And I can attest to it because I feel it happening in my life as well. So let me just say, if you are new here, hello, welcome. Like I said, I'm Lori Rising of therawandwildhearts.com. I'm so happy that you found us. Please hit the subscribe button right down there. Hit the notification bell so that you're alerted whenever I do drop a new video. And please, if you're feeling support, excitement, or even if you're feeling a little triggered by these messages, it's because there's growth that's waiting on the other side of it. So just go ahead and hit that like button on this video and let me know in the comments below, how are you feeling these Pluto energies in your life? How is this Aquarius energy showing up for you? So if you know how to read your natal chart, go ahead and look at where 20 degrees of Aquarius is or 0 degrees of Aquarius, because those are the houses that are going to be really activating for you right now. Those are the environments of your life that want you to die something off so something new and nourishing can be reborn from the compost or the ashes of whatever you've burned down. Okay, so if you need help reading a natal chart or reading an astrology chart in general, stick around, because very soon I will be sharing the astrology chart of the new moon, and I will be highlighting the aspects of the transiting planets that I'm going to be talking about in this video. No, I don't talk about all of them. I only really tap into what's happening in the collective consciousness and what I'm being shown through my intuitive channel of what wants to be known right now in very supportive and guiding ways for us. And then at the end of the video, I bring in a card read from the guides. These card reads are really delicious. They're very supportive. And if you've been a longtime listener, first of all, thank you. But second of all, I want to know if you take these messages and apply them to the experiences that show up as we move through these big, powerful energies. Because that's the thing. That's where we're going, is we have to stop living our whole life up here and trying to control everything in our experience, even in our bodies or in our realities, from the mind space, which creates the activation of the sympathetic nervous system, which moves us into fight or flight, and it keeps us in that stress response, which breaks our bodies down and moves us further into misalignment from our soul and divine truth. Okay, y'all? So that is why in all of my containers, you will experience integrations and activations of the body, of the energy, and of the soul. That's the alchemy, and that's the ease in the transformation of whatever is continuing to come up for you, because it comes up as a gift, and we usually constrict around it, we resist it, and we push it down, and then it just continues to get solidified in our cells, and it actually suppresses and mutes that ancient encoded wisdom that I'm talking about, that guides you and guides your life in beautiful ways, no matter what is happening around you. So that's where my membership community, the Wild Heart ones, is so special. We do the integrative work of the new and full moons in live calls. There's all kinds of bonuses in there. There's the gorgeous supportive community aspect where people come together and they cheer each other on, and they really just hold space for everyone to be in the unfolding that's happening. It's almost a no-brainer. If you're looking for community, if you're looking for a mentor, if you're looking for an integrative daily practice that clears the energy, that moves the triggers, that reminds you of your greatness and of who you really are at your core and in your heart and in your inherent truth, this is it. It's like you can commit to 1 month and you can leave whenever. The door is open. And I've had people in there for years because it's the thing that brings us back to center while all the chaos happens, ultimately for humanity's growth and evolution. And I'll also say that I have one-to-one mentorship journey available, and it's coming up right after my big Awaken Your Fire Mexico retreat that I'm so excited about. This retreat is Accelerated Ascension. I can't wait to share with you about it after we get back, but we begin in 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. Anyway, the one-to-one mentorship journey, this is for the person that is so tired of living in that internal struggle. Like, you are ready to show up and do the work, because like I said, I'm no BS. Like, I'm not going to let you stay in the mind loops. I'm not going to let you just stay in the energy of defending your limitations. I am going to take you deep. I'm going to get to the embodied root transformation, and you will move from this journey a whole new vibration and frequency, which ultimately means a magnetization for the life and reality that you came here to create. So I'll just say, like, this 3-month mentorship journey, it's not for the faint of heart. Like, I am not going to just appease you and tell you what you want to hear. But if you're ready for the deep work, if you're ready to live this human life fully, unapologetically, exquisitely, as the light that you came here to be, this is something to look into, because it's so personalized, it's so deep, it is so relentless about how freaking amazing you are and about how important your innate medicine is to be unleashed in this world. If you're interested in that, head below, book a free discovery call with me, because we have to make sure that it's the right fit, hands down. For everything else, all of my other offers, if you want to go deeper in my world, like I said, just head on over to therawandwildhearts.com. Okay, y'all, let's look at the chart for the Aquarius new moon now. Here we go. As you can see right here is the sun and moon at 20 degrees of Aquarius. And right here on the new moon, it's Pluto and Mercury, 7 degrees apart. So they're still conjunct. But today, if I didn't say it before, today, February 5th, they are actually conjunct. So it's a big deal right now. You're going to be having a heaviness that probably comes in on the 5th because of that Pluto invitation into moving beyond something that's not working for you anymore in the way that you communicate, in your ideas, in your thoughts. And this can be in the way that you talk to yourself, and also in the way that you interact in your friendships and in your networks. So just pay attention to what might be available when you do it a different way. You know, I've been actually sitting with this today, of course, it's coming in because of Pluto, but I've been sitting with this reality that so many of us, when a trigger comes up with us in our friendship or in an experience, we oftentimes get mad, get frustrated, get angry, and then just lash out, or we retreat instead of allowing ourselves to do it a new way. And what I want to say for this is the newer soul flow that I talk about so often. It's like, when you feel that trigger, allow yourself to change the environment, find the soft nervous system, get back into alignment, and then get the lesson or learning from it, and let that guide you and lead you back to the connection where you actually can share the process that happened for you instead of making it about somebody else. And that's going to be like even these micro worlds of evolution of just specific experiences, and that energy emanates out into the field. And we can actually create a new grid where people start interacting, and that kind of growth environment, oh my gosh, it just feels so good to me. And this is something I'm going to practice going forward in my relationships. Instead of just cutting somebody out, I'll practice this. And then if something continues to come in that feels like a lag or a drag, that's when you do unentangle. So it's like, let ourselves be just a little more gentle in the unraveling, and let it give us the soul growth that wants to come through, rather than just the expulsion of it from our reality. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight today on the 5th that you're going to be really feeling this energy between Pluto and Mercury in Aquarius. And on the new moon, you'll still feel it a little bit, but hopefully by then it's the flow that comes from the ebb that showed up in the conjunct pizzazz. So on the new moon, we're going to have the moon and sun square Uranus, because Uranus is at 19 degrees of Taurus here, and the moon and sun are at 20 degrees of Aquarius. Again, this is fixed energy, so you've got to watch the challenge that's coming in between these two. Uranus wants something to change and shift in your foundation, right? Taurus is earth, and we can look at this as what's changing and happening in the earth's foundation, but also your own foundation and how you feel into resources, like what resources are for you, and finding more of that sovereignty and support and trust in your internal resources instead of needing something outside of you. But this is also about really finding sensuality in your life, really letting yourself get into these places of pleasure, and that actually activates more of your connections and networks. I feel like that's the message that's coming through in that square. And then we've got Mars and Venus over here in a conjunction. It's a wide one. Mars is at 27 degrees, Venus is at 21 in Capricorn. So you're not going to feel it a ton, but this is the divine feminine and the sacred masculine. So this is how you receive and how you give and show love, and this is how you take action. And Capricorn is like no nonsense. It's no bullshit. It's like matter of fact. It does the job. It does it well. It has a good reputation. It gets the accolades. I'm just going to look at all of this right here with all this Aquarius energy and this Capricorn energy. It's going to be a level of emotional detachment. And I know some of you really actually need that. So you can let yourself go forward without taking on the burden of how somebody else feels, or, you know, the story of how your actions are determining something about them. It's like, I think I said this in the last video, in the Leo one, right? Because that was a fixed energy as well. Like, take people at face value and just move forward from there. Make decisions from there and stop creating a big story about it based on what you've known of them from their past. And let them do that with you too. Realize that whatever you're outputting and sharing with somebody, don't try to be emotionally manipulative. Like, say the thing, what you mean, and they get to make a decision from there, and they get to have their sovereignty in their journey. So I feel like this is important to look at right here. Something I was going to highlight just a little bit as well is up here, the North Node is almost conjunct Chiron. So the North Node's at 17, Chiron's at 16. This will be an ongoing wound of self. If you keep showing up in these groups and communities and you keep feeling shitty, but you keep coming back, that's on you. There are so many people, like, this world is so expansive. There's so many ways that you can make new friends and find new vibes for your life that fill you up and they make you feel good. I feel like the biggest theme of where we're going in this consciousness revolution is the quote by Albert Einstein: the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. So the destiny is the North Node, the Chiron is the wounded healer, and Aries is our confidence, our filterlessness, our ability to be the maverick or pioneer in our life, our ability to take the action and move forward without anybody's input or judgment and without worrying about anybody else. The only thing that you want to be aware of with this energy is you want to stay with whatever you create. Don't let the momentum peter out. But with this Chiron and North Node conjunct, we're moving towards the solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th. That's going to be conjunct the North Node. So I feel like I'm just kind of preempting us into this energy of the wound that continues to keep coming up about who you are in your identity and how you show up in the world. Like, it's time to make the difference. It's time to step into your power there and stop holding yourself back. And the final aspect I was going to show is Mercury square Jupiter. So here's Jupiter at 8 degrees of Taurus, Mercury at 7 degrees of Aquarius. I just keep feeling into all of this fixed energy and how I'm seeing such resistance in my client containers. And I just got to remind everybody that you're the only one that can change that. No matter how much somebody else is supporting you and creating new paths and angles for you, you have to be the one to decide that things can shift in a moment, because trust me, they can. That's how we came to be. We just learned a different way for so long. So again, use the determination to do something new that you've never experienced before. And this Jupiter is the expansion of that pleasure, the beauty, the simplicity, the inner resources, and like relationship and love, like finding the relationships in Aquarius that feel so good to your heart. They expand your heart. They expand who you are because the energy is so freaking elevated. Like, keep going until you find that. Do not settle, y'all. Do not settle. So those were just a few of the aspects that I wanted to talk about. Let me know in the comments below, how are those energies landing for you? Are there any enlightenments or epiphanies or ahas where you're like, oh yeah, I totally see that playing out in this situation in my life, and now I'm ready to basically come at it from the beginner's eyes, like come at it from a new energy. Like, what's the new identity of how I can show up in that experience that I haven't been allowing myself to even be open to? Let us know. Let's really start the elevation through the interaction in the comments below and the energy that we let out instead of holding it in. So let's find out real quick what the guides have to say in a card read. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that the intensity of the messages today actually really land with you and they spark and ignite something new with you. Oh, that reminds me. If you haven't done any work around Imbolc, which was February 1st and 2nd, it's the cross-quarter holiday between winter solstice and the spring equinox in the Northern Hemisphere. I did a lovely event and activation that is on YouTube, so I'll link that below as well. Go check it out, because that's where we do a lot of the solid holistic practice for the body, mind, soul, and energy, so that we can feel that place of expansion in moments, that we can get that higher guidance connection and calibrate it into this physical reality. I've gotten so much great feedback because we worked with the goddess Bridget, and it was a beautiful journey. So go check that out and let me know how that lands for you as well. Okay, so the cards today. Yes, okay, I love this. I love seeing some new cards come in. So this card is Observer. And look how this beautiful little fox, which is, foxes are so intelligent and they're very playful. But look at how that fox is looking up to the moon and the stars, and it's pretty much almost a new moon. So let yourself get into that galactic activation and observe what shows up for you in your dreams, in the meditations, in the astral travel. This Aquarius energy is ripe for that picking. So, you know, my motto at the end of all of my videos is don't forget to keep looking up. That's actually my home. Recently, we had 2 months of cloud cover. And if you know, you know, but I was starting to get really a little bit untethered because I had felt a disconnection from my home, of the stars, of the galaxy, of the expanse. And so remember not to just be so focused in your micro world here, but remember that we're so much bigger than the changes taking place. So when you can normalize these changes but you stay in the flow of this greater consciousness, oh my gosh, it just gets so much easier in this physicality. So the next card is Treasure Island. Look at that. And it's in the water there and it's going slow. So let yourself get so deliberate in these moments. Get into the consciousness of water. Let your tears flow, because that's literally transporting the stuck emotion out of your body and system, which opens space for all of this light that's pouring onto the planets and the plasmic light to be integrated into your system to reawaken the ancient encoded knowledge. But it shows me that when you let yourself get into that higher vantage point or transcend just the charge of whatever's changing right now, you're gonna get the gold, you're gonna get the goods, you're gonna get that, like, the treasure of this life is alignment. The resources come from that. Just remember that as you move forward. And the final card is Loyal Heart. And this shows me that when you start to just open up more and more and you start seeking in a new way, you're going to easily find those frequency matches. You're going to find those people that get you, that actually accelerate who you are. Because we've been normalizing being in these families and groups that keep us in limitation, that hold us to a past iteration or version of ourselves that's no longer who we are. And then we get constricted in that space. So feel this in the new acquaintances, the networks, the friendships, the communities, the mentors, and say yes. Use the determination of the fixed energy to say yes to this feeling. I love you all so much. If you have any questions about my programs or my containers or offerings, please hit me up. All the links are below. And until next time, don't forget to keep looking up.